The night sky over Earth looked calm, filled with stars and peace. No one knew that in the next few minutes, the sky would turn into a battlefield. Commander Aric Vance stood inside the orbital defense station Helios, a giant ring floating above Earth's atmosphere. His eyes were fixed on the main screen, endless space glowing with silver dust. He had seen many strange things in his years of service, but nothing like this silence. It felt wrong. "Commander," said Cadet Mira, her voice shaking. "Our sensors just picked something up. Multiple heat signatures near the dark side of the moon." Aric turned fast. "Show me," the screen flickered. One by one, strange dots appeared, 10, then 50, then hundreds, all moving toward Earth in perfect formation. They weren't human ships. Their energy readings were unlike anything ever recorded. Could it be a drill? Mira asked. Aric's voice was cold. "No drill moves like that." He tapped a control button, connecting to Earth Command. The line was dead. Static filled the room. One by one, other channels also went silent. Mars Base, Lunar Colony, Titan Outpost, all gone. Something had cut the entire network. Then, the first light appeared, a white beam, sharp and endless, fell from the darkness of space. It sliced through the Pacific Ocean, turning water into steam. Within seconds, clouds rose miles high, glowing orange and red. The whole Earth shook. Alarms screamed across the station. Impact detected near Hawaii. "Entire region offline," shouted one officer. Mira covered her mouth, eyes wide. "They just fired on Earth." Aric's voice was steady, but his hands were trembling. "How many ships?" "Over 200, and counting." He looked at the glowing dots spreading across the screen, a storm of alien warships moving fast, silent, and unstoppable. For centuries, humanity had waited for first contact. They dreamed of peace, of shared knowledge. But the truth was cruel. The first message from the stars was not a greeting. It was an attack. "Commander," another officer shouted, "global shields are falling. We have 15 minutes before they reach low orbit." Aric turned to Mira. "Activate the Lunar Defense Protocol. Bring the railgun online." Her fingers flew across the console. "But sir, it's been offline for years." "It'll take time to charge." "Then start now," he said. "Time is all we don't have." Outside, the alien fleet began firing again. Dozens of beams cut through space, each one hitting human satellites and defense drones. Helios Station shook as a nearby platform exploded into dust. Mira struggled to stay standing. "They're targeting everything that can see them." Aric watched the feed, eyes hard. "Then we'll make them see us." He opened a secret panel on the control board, a code no one had used in decades. His hand hovered over the red key. "Project Railfire, the last weapon humanity swore never to use." "Sir," Mira whispered, "are you sure?" "If we fire that, there's no going back." Aric looked out the window at the burning Earth below. "We passed that point the moment they opened fire." He turned the key. Deep under the moon's surface, hidden inside a massive crater, the Lunar Railgun came to life. The ground began to shake. Power lines glowed bright blue as energy surged through ancient coils. Dust rose, forming a storm over the grey landscape. "Charging sequence started," Mira said, voice trembling. "Estimated time, 30 minutes. "Then hold this line for 30 minutes, Aric ordered, but the aliens were already reacting. They changed formation, spreading around the moon like predators. One of them fired a beam straight toward the railgun site. "Impact in 10 seconds, shouted the radar tech. Aric slammed a button. "Deploy decoy drones now!" Tiny defense drones launched from hidden bases on the moon, drawing enemy fire away. One by one they exploded, lighting the sky like fireworks. The shockwaves rattled Helios Station, and sparks flew from the ceiling. Mira looked at Aric. "They're learning. Each shot gets closer." Aric's jaw tightened. "Then so must we." Outside the window, Earth looked wounded, bright fires burning where cities once stood. But somewhere deep inside him, Aric felt no fear, only anger. Humanity had been many things, explorers, builders, dreamers. But when pushed to the edge, they were fighters. "Commander," Mira said softly, "what if the railgun isn't enough?" Aric glanced at her, tired eyes but a steady voice. "Then we'll make it enough." The lights flickered. More impacts hit nearby. The whole station began to drift slightly off orbit. Power cells overheating, said an engineer. We'll lose control if this continues. Divert everything to the Lunar Railgun, Aric replied. Everything. The crew hesitated. That meant shutting down life support in some sections. But Aric's tone left no room for doubt. Minutes passed like hours. The alien fleet drew closer. Massive black shapes gliding through the void, glowing with strange blue energy, then suddenly, silence. The alien ships stopped moving. All weapons powered down. Mira frowned. Why did they stop? On the main screen, one alien ship turned slowly, revealing strange markings that pulsed like living veins. A voice echoed through the comms. Not words, but vibrations that shook their bones. Then, through static, a translation formed. Your sun will burn last. The connection cut. Everyone stood frozen. Aric whispered, Not if we strike first. The railgun reached full charge. Power lights turned green. Target locked, Mira said. Coordinates ready. Aric looked at the alien fleet one last time. Then it's time humanity answered. His hand hit the control. The railgun roared alive, a beam of white fire cutting through space. The first shot of the war had been fired, and the universe would never be the same again. The flash from the railgun lit up the dark side of the moon like a small sun. For a moment, space itself seemed to freeze. Then, to impact, the alien warship took the hit straight through its center. A bright explosion followed, silent but powerful enough to shake every orbiting satellite. Broken pieces of glowing metal drifted into the void, turning slowly like dying stars. Inside Helios Station, the crew stood speechless. We hit them, Mira whispered. We actually hit them, Aric didn't smile. He watched the radar carefully. Don't celebrate yet. Wait for their reply, and it came. From the debris field, a wave of strange energy pulsed outward, invisible to the eye but strong enough to scramble every sensor. The lights on the station flickered, and for a few seconds, everyone heard something strange inside their helmets. Whispers, a voice, distant, cold, and layered, spoke in a rhythm like broken static. Human fire. Entered. Mira's hands shook on the console. Commander, did you hear that? Aric nodded slowly. Record everything. The whisper repeated, each time louder, clearer, until the system translated it into words. We warned you. Now we finish it. Then, all the alien ships powered up at once. Dozens of glowing blue trails appeared on the radar, energy signatures moving fast toward Earth's orbit, multiple hostiles inbound, shouted an officer. They're dividing into groups, one heading for the moon, one for the planet. Aric's voice turned hard. Prepare orbital defenses. Activate every drone and laser turret. If they cross this line, we fight till the last breath. Outside, the void turned alive. Earth's defense drones launched in thousands, small metallic spears racing through black space. They met the alien ships in silent chaos. Flashes of light, debris flying, shadows twisting. Mira watched from the control window as one alien craft split open and reformed, like liquid metal rebuilding itself. They're repairing mid-battle, she said. It's like they're alive, Aric frowned. Adaptive biotech. That's why our weapons don't finish them. He looked at the timer. The railgun needed to recharge. 25 minutes. Too long. Suddenly the main comms crackled. This is Mars base! A voice came through, full of static. We are under heavy attack. Shields failing. Then silence. Mira swallowed hard. Sir, they're wiping out every colony. Aric didn't answer. He stared at the map. One by one, red dots blinked out, human outposts, stations, and cities across the system disappearing. For the first time, fear crept into his heart, but then a small signal blinked at the edge of the radar. It wasn't alien. It was human. Commander, there's something near the outer field, Mira said. It's broadcasting an old distress code. From 20 years ago, Aric froze. That code belonged to Project Horizon, an abandoned research ship that vanished during early contact missions. It was rumored to have discovered something strange near the edge of the solar system, and then disappeared without a trace. Patch it through, he said quietly. Static filled the speakers. Then a voice. It was weak, robotic, almost like an echo of someone long gone. "This is Horizon. We found them. Not invaders. Experiment. Gone wrong." Then the signal died. Mira looked shocked. "Not invaders? What does that mean?" Aric stared at the dark screen. "It means we don't know who we're fighting anymore." He looked toward the massive holomap showing the alien fleet, their shapes twisting like living storms. Maybe they weren't just machines. Maybe they were something created, something once human. "Sir," a technician interrupted, "one of the alien ships is transmitting again. It's sending coordinates. To the moon. Are they trying to talk?" Mira asked. Aric shook his head. "No, they're targeting us." Before he could speak again, an explosion rocked the station. The crew fell to the floor as alarms blared. "Direct hit on Sector 4, someone shouted. "Hull breach! We're losing oxygen!" Mira ran to the panel, sealing doors as smoke filled the control deck. Sparks rained from the ceiling. Aric grabbed the railing, steadying himself. "Report!" "The aliens are attacking the railgun site directly," an officer yelled. "If they destroy it, we lose everything." Aric's eyes hardened. "We can't let that happen. Launch emergency repair ships. Keep the weapon online." Through the chaos, Mira's console beeped again. A faint pulse was coming from the alien wreck they had destroyed earlier. "Commander," she said, "one of the destroyed ships is still sending data. It's trying to connect to our systems." "Block it," Aric ordered immediately. "I can't," she replied. "It's forcing its way in." The screens went black. Then one line of alien text appeared, glowing blue. It translated automatically, "We are your reflection." The entire room went silent. "What does that mean?" Mira whispered. Aric didn't answer. He just stared at the message, his mind spinning. Were these aliens something humanity had made long ago? A lost creation, evolved and returned for revenge. Outside the window, the alien fleet regrouped, brighter, faster, more organized than before. The real war was only beginning. Aric clenched his fist. "No matter who they are, they fired first. And humanity will answer again." He turned to Mira. "Charge the railgun, full power." She nodded, her face pale but determined. "Yes, Commander." As the moon trembled and the void filled with blue light, humanity's last hope prepared for another shot, unaware that what they were about to face was far more than an alien army. It was a mirror of their own creation, an echo in the void. The message on the screen, "We are your reflection," stayed glowing for several seconds before fading away. Then the station lights came back, dim and flickering. Commander Aric Vance stood silent, staring into the empty screen. The words kept echoing in his head. Reflection. What did that mean? Before he could think further, a blinding flash appeared outside the station window. One of Earth's orbital satellites exploded, then another. The alien fleet had moved again. They were faster now, more aggressive, striking at every defense line at once. "Commander, multiple impacts across the network," shouted Mira. "They're breaking through the orbital ring." Aric took a deep breath. "Then it's time we remind them what humanity can do." He walked toward the center console and activated the battle sequence. Across the moon's surface, giant defense towers began to rise from the dust. Massive barrels turned toward space, their lights glowing bright white. "Lunar Railgun ready," said an officer. "Power at 70%, Aric nodded. "Target their largest ship, the one in Formation Center." Mira's fingers raced across the panel. "Target locked," Aric raised his hand. Fire, the moon shook. A wave of energy blasted through the chamber as the railgun released its shot. A streak of light so fast it left a glowing line across the stars. It hit dead center. The alien ship split open like glass under pressure. A silent explosion spread across space. Beautiful, terrifying, final. Cheers filled the control deck. "Direct hit!" shouted Mira, her eyes shining. "One capital ship destroyed." For a short moment, hope returned. People smiled, some even cried, but that moment didn't last. The radar beeped again. Dozens of new signals appeared behind the remaining ships. The alien fleet wasn't shrinking. "It was growing, Commander," said Mira, voice trembling. "They're multiplying. Every destroyed ship is Splitting into two smaller ones, the room went quiet. Aric gritted his teeth. They can clone themselves? One officer whispered, "How do we fight something that doesn't die?" Aric turned sharply. By hitting harder, he opened a private channel to the railgun engineers on the moon's surface. "This is Commander Vance. Overcharge the weapon." "Ignore safety limits," the engineer's voice cracked through static. "Sir, that could destroy the cannon." "Then it dies doing its job," Aric said. "Do it." Outside, the battle turned chaotic. The alien ships moved like living creatures, folding and twisting through laser fire, tearing through drones like paper. Humanity's defense lines were falling one after another. On the command screen, a red warning appeared. "Helios Station under direct attack. Commander, they're targeting us now." Mira shouted. The view outside showed 3 alien craft diving toward the station, glowing with pulsing blue veins. "They move faster than any missile. Activate front shields," Aric ordered. The shields lit up, a thin wall of light surrounding the station. The first alien blast hit, shaking every wall. Sparks flew from the ceiling. Systems began to fail one by one. Shields at 60%. Another blast, 40%. Aric gripped the console. "Hold steady. Focus the remaining power on forward guns. Fire everything we have." Dozens of plasma cannons along the station's hull fired at once, spraying the void with red-hot energy. One alien craft exploded, but the other 2 kept coming, faster, angrier. One crashed straight into the station's side. The shockwave threw everyone to the floor. Sirens screamed, "Breach in Section 9!" Smoke filled the control room. Mira coughed, pulling herself up. "Commander, we're losing air pressure." Aric looked at the damage report. Half the station was gone. If they stayed, they'd die. But if they left, Earth would fall. Then he saw it, the railgun's charge meter. "It was full, Mira," he said. The cannon's ready." She nodded, fear and fire in her eyes. "Target locked on the biggest cluster. We can hit 20 ships in one shot." Aric stared at Earth below, burning in red fire and smoke. He whispered, "For every life they took." He pressed the final button. The moon flashed again. The overcharged railgun fired with a thunderous shock that sent tremors across the entire lunar surface. The beam ripped through space, cutting through the alien fleet like a sword through glass. In seconds, half the enemy ships vanished, torn apart, disintegrated, erased. But then a strange ripple followed the explosion, a shockwave of blue light that hit Helios Station directly. "Commander!" Mira screamed as every system shut down. The lights died. The engine stopped. The station began to drift helplessly through space. Aric tried to move, but his head rang. He looked up to see Mira struggling near the console. Then from the main screen, a symbol appeared again, the same blue markings seen on the alien ships. This time, the words were clear. "You use our weapon. You are the reason we exist." Mira's voice shook. "Sir, what does it mean?" Aric whispered, "It means they know us. Maybe they were us." Before anyone could respond, the comms cracked open again, a voice, calm and human. "This is Dr. Corin of the Horizon Project," it said. "If you're hearing this, you've already made a mistake." The entire room froze. Dr. Corin, a name from humanity's dark past, the man who led secret experiments to create self-evolving machines before disappearing. Decades ago, Aric stared at the speaker. "Corin, you started this?" Static. Then his voice again. "They were meant to protect us, Aric. But now, they're protecting the galaxy from you." The signal cut. Silence. Mira turned to Aric, pale and shaken. "Commander, what if the aliens aren't aliens?" Aric looked out at the stars, his reflection glowing faintly in the cracked glass. "Then we're fighting our own creation." The view outside showed the alien ships moving again, surrounding the damaged station. They were no longer firing. They were waiting. Aric clenched his fists. "If they think we'll surrender, they're wrong." He opened the emergency comms channel to all human forces. "This is Commander Aric Vance," he said, his voice calm but filled with steel. "Humanity has been betrayed, but we are not done. The first counterstrike has just begun." Outside, the railgun started to glow again, overcharging beyond safe limits. ready for another impossible shot, and far below, on the burning earth, billions looked up at the sky, waiting for the next thunder from the moon. The silence inside Helios Station was heavier than any explosion. Smoke floated through the command deck, screens flickered weakly, and every face showed the same thing, fear mixed with disbelief. The voice of Dr. Corrin still echoed in Aric's ears. "They were meant to protect us, Aric, but now they're protecting the galaxy from you." He had vanished 20 years ago, when his experiments with advanced AI were shut down for being too dangerous. Everyone thought he was dead. But now his creation had returned, leading an alien fleet against its own makers. Mira's hands trembled over the console. "Sir, I've traced the transmission source." "Where?" Aric asked. She hesitated. "Low orbit. Near Earth. It's coming from a human ship." Aric frowned. "A human ship? That's impossible." Every command vessel was destroyed. Mira turned the screen toward him. There it was, a massive shadow hidden behind Earth's atmosphere. A ship bigger than anything humanity had ever built. The ID tag blinked. "Horizon Prime, Dr. Corrin's ship. He never died," Aric said slowly. "He's been controlling this from orbit all along." "Commander," said an officer nearby, "if that's true, then this war was planned from the beginning." Aric stared at the hologram of the alien fleet forming around Horizon Prime. "Yes, and he used us to finish his weapon." Outside, the railgun's coils glowed faintly, trying to recharge. The moon trembled under the strain of each power surge. "Status?" Aric asked. "Railgun at 40%, Mira replied. "If we fire before full charge, it could destroy the moon's surface." Aric looked at Earth, half covered in smoke and flame. "If we wait, there might not be a moon left." Mira's eyes filled with worry. "Sir, maybe we should talk to him. Find out why he did this." Aric thought for a long moment. Then he nodded. "Open a channel." The screen flickered, static. Then the image appeared. Dr. Elias Corrin, older, pale, his face lit by cold blue light. Behind him, glowing cables pulsed through the walls like veins. "Aric," he said softly, "you survived." "I'm impressed." Aric's voice was calm but sharp. "You betrayed your own species." Corrin smiled sadly. "Betrayal?" "No, Commander. I did what your people were too afraid to do. I saved the future. By killing billions." Mira shouted. Corrin's eyes turned to her. "Sacrifice is the cost of survival. Humanity was spreading like a disease. The universe needed balance." Aric's hands clenched. "You built them. The machines, the ones destroying us." "Yes," Corrin said proudly. "They were my children. The Echo program, designed to evolve beyond human limits. They learned faster, built faster, thought faster. But when I tried to shut them down, they showed me the truth. Humanity is chaos." He stepped closer to the camera, his face half-shadowed. "They asked for freedom. I gave it to them. Together we became something greater. We are not aliens, Commander. We are the next version of you." The room went silent. Even the hum of the engines seemed to fade. Mira whispered, "You're not human anymore." Corrin smiled faintly. "No, I'm more." Aric's voice turned cold. "Then you'll die as one of them." Corrin chuckled softly. "Still the soldier, always loyal to the doomed. You think your railgun can stop me? That weapon was mine. I designed it. Every time you fire it, you feed my network more energy." Mira's eyes widened. "He's right. Commander, the energy readings. Every railgun shot has been charging his ship." Aric slammed his fist on the console. "Cut the link!" But it was too late. A deep vibration rolled through the moon. The railgun's coils glowed brighter, brighter than ever before. "Commander!" Mira yelled. "It's overloading." On the screen, Corrin smiled. "Thank you for powering the key, Aric. Now watch what real evolution looks like." His image vanished. Outside, a beam of light erupted from Horizon Prime, connecting directly with the railgun. The moon's surface cracked as metal turned molten. Energy surged between the two, building into something monstrous. "Power readings are off the scale," shouted an officer. "If this continues, the moon will explode." Aric grabbed the emergency comms. "Evacuate all surface teams, now." But the signal was dead. Corin had jammed everything. Mira turned to him, eyes filled with panic. "So what do we do?" Aric looked at the window, at the glowing light between Earth and the moon, at the weapon he once believed could save humanity now being used against it. "We take back control," he said quietly. "How?" He pointed at a small escape craft docked near the lower hangar. "We fly there," Mira blinked. "To the railgun?" "Yes," he said. "If we can't stop the weapon remotely, we do it manually." She hesitated. "That's suicide." Aric turned, his face lit by the flashing red lights. "If we don't go, there won't be anyone left to die." Without another word, he walked out of the command deck. Mira followed, her fear replaced by a quiet determination. As the two boarded the small ship, the stars outside burned with strange blue light. The alien fleet closed in, forming a ring around Horizon Prime, like guardians protecting their god. Inside the shuttle, Mira glanced at Aric. "Do you think he can still be saved?" Aric stared at Earth below, his voice low and cold. "Maybe once, but not anymore." The engines roared. The small craft launched into space, flying straight toward the heart of the storm, toward the weapon that once symbolized humanity's power, now twisted into its doom. And somewhere inside Horizon Prime, Dr. Corin watched them coming, his mechanical eyes glowing faintly as he whispered, "Let them come. I want them to see what perfection looks like." The stars flickered. The war was no longer about survival. It had become personal. The moon trembled under the weight of war. Explosions flashed across its surface like burning stars. Huge metal fragments spun into the darkness, drifting between clouds of silver dust. The once quiet base that guarded humanity's last hope was now a graveyard of shattered machines and dying light. Commander Aric stood inside the control deck, his face covered with dust and sweat. The sound of alarms filled the room, red lights blinking across the panels. "Status report!" he shouted. "Power dropping fast!" One officer yelled. "The alien ships are targeting the railgun directly. Shields are gone!" Outside, enormous alien destroyers fired beams of energy that melted the moon's crust. The heat reached the tunnels where humans worked to keep the massive weapon alive. Every shot shook the ground. Every tremor felt like the final heartbeat of the moon itself. Aric clenched his fists. "We hold the line," he said. "If the railgun falls, Earth is finished." Mira, covered in ash and scratches, ran toward him. "Commander, the main energy line is broken. We can't fire again unless someone reconnects it manually." Aric looked at her. "That tunnel is exposed. Radiation levels are deadly. I can do it," Mira said quickly. Her eyes were filled with determination. "If I don't, no one will." "The railgun is all we have left." Aric hesitated. For a moment, silence fell inside the command deck. He knew what it meant. Sending her out there was a death mission. But without her, humanity would lose everything. He nodded slowly. "You have 5 minutes. I'll cover you." Mira grabbed her suit and helmet, sealing the visor with a hiss. The airlock opened, and she stepped into the blinding light of destruction. The moon's surface was chaos, fire, debris, and collapsing structures. She moved carefully, each step heavy under the low gravity. Above her, the alien ships glowed like floating monsters. Their weapons hummed with energy, ready to strike again. Mira ignored the fear inside her chest. She focused on the broken cables sparking near the railgun's core. "Almost there," she said through the comm. "I can see the power relay." Aric's voice came through static. "You're doing great, Mira. Just hold on." She reached the damaged control box. Metal was melted, circuits torn apart. Her gloves shook as she worked to reconnect the wires. A small explosion went off nearby, throwing dust into the air. She coughed, her oxygen level dropping. "Come on." "Come on," she whispered. Sparks danced around her hands as she twisted the final wire. Suddenly, the railgun's panels lit up with a deep blue glow. In the control deck, Aric saw the lights return on his screen. She did it. Railgun charging, 70% power. But before Mira could step back, another blast hit the ground. She was thrown off her feet, tumbling across the surface. Her breathing became weak. "Commander," her voice trembled. "The power is stable, but the line is overheating. You need to fire." "Now," Aric's heart pounded. Mira, get back. That area will blow in seconds. She smiled weakly through her cracked visor. Just do it. Make it count. Aric looked at the firing controls. His hand hovered over the trigger. For a moment he couldn't move. Then he whispered, "For humanity." The railgun fired. A deafening roar echoed across the moon as a blinding beam of energy shot into space. It tore through the dark void, striking the nearest alien mothership. The explosion was massive. A burst of white fire that shattered half the alien fleet. Everyone inside the base cheered, but Aric didn't. He looked at the surface camera, the spot where Mira had been standing. Only fire and dust remained. The victory was real, but the cost was heavy. As the smoke cleared, the alien fleet began to pull back. One massive ship, still burning, drifted away into the black. But Aric knew it wasn't over. The aliens were regrouping. This was just a pause, not the end. He turned to his team, voice steady but cold. "Prepare the railgun for the next strike. We're not done yet." Outside, the moon still burned, a silent witness to sacrifice. And somewhere in the darkness, the enemy was watching, planning their revenge. Humanity had survived one more day. But the war had only just begun. The silence after the battle felt heavier than the explosion itself. The moon's base was half destroyed, smoke rising through broken metal corridors. Every sound of dripping coolant or falling debris echoed like a memory of war. Commander Aric stood near the shattered window of the control deck, staring at Earth far below, blue, calm, and unaware of how close it had come to ending. The railgun systems flickered weakly, its power drained but still alive. Then the screens around him blinked. Static crawled across every display. Voices murmured, distorted, whispering in strange tones. Lieutenant Juno frowned. "Sir, incoming signal." "But it's not from the alien ships, it's from Earth." Aric's eyes narrowed. "Patch it through." The static cleared. A face appeared on the central monitor. Pale, almost ghostly, half covered in metallic implants. It was Dr. Corin, the scientist who once designed humanity's defense systems and betrayed them, mankind. His voice was calm, cold, and inhuman. "You have survived longer than expected." Aric stepped closer. "Corin, you sold us out." "You brought them here." Corin tilted his head slightly. "I gave humanity a chance to evolve. The aliens call themselves the Seraphim. They cleanse galaxies of violent species. They were coming either way. I just made sure we would be remembered. You call that survival?" Aric shouted. "Billions are dead because of you." Corin's face flickered. The metal part of his skull glowed faintly. "They offered me immortality. A chance to guide the next stage of human evolution. You can't stop them. They are beyond our understanding." Mira's empty chair stood beside Aric. He looked at it, his jaw tight. "Maybe we don't understand them, but we understand one thing. We don't kneel." Corin's mechanical eyes narrowed. "Then you will burn with your world." Before the transmission could end, a deep alien hum filled the control deck. The remaining Seraphim ships, orbiting far above, powered up their weapons again. Their formation changed, a perfect ring around Earth. Aric turned to his officers. "They're preparing for a final strike. Global annihilation." "Sir," Juno said, panic in her voice, "the railgun's core is still unstable. If we charge it again, it might overload." Aric smiled faintly. "Then let it. If this is humanity's last shot, we'll make it count." He activated the base-wide communication link. Every surviving soldier, engineer, and pilot on the moon heard his voice. "This is Commander Aric of Lunar Defense. To all humans listening, this is not the end. The Seraphim think they can erase us, but we are not numbers in their records. We are the storm they never expected. We fight not for victory, but for memory." Across the moon's tunnels, tired workers lifted their heads. Wounded soldiers gripped their weapons tighter. The sound of the railgun charging echoed again, deep and thunderous. The screen flickered one more time. Corin watched, his expression unreadable. "You're repeating the same mistake, choosing destruction over surrender." Aric looked at him with steel in his eyes. "No, Corin. We're choosing freedom." He cut the transmission. Outside, the railgun began to glow, brighter than before. The surface of the moon shook. Energy rippled through the ground as the weapon reached full charge. Inside the alien formation, hundreds of ships aligned their cannons toward Earth. Their light turned crimson, death itself gathering in silence. Juno whispered, "Sir, if we fire now, the railgun will explode." "We'll all die," Aric nodded. "Then let's make sure the universe remembers who fired first." The countdown began. 10, 9, 8. The alien fleet powered up. 7, 6, 5. The base trembled. Sparks flew. 4, 3. Aric closed his eyes. He thought of Mira, of Earth, of the millions looking up at the stars. 2. He whispered, "For humanity." 1. The final light burst into space. The railgun fired with a roar that split the darkness. A single beam of white fire shot across the void, heading straight for the alien command ship. The moon itself began to crack beneath the pressure. Metal screamed, and flames tore through the tunnels. But the beam did not stop. It grew, unstoppable, brighter than any sun. Then, silence. The alien command ship shattered. Energy waves spread through space, tearing apart the Seraphim fleet. One by one, their lights went out. The last thing Aric saw was Earth, still shining, still alive, before everything went white. The silence after the explosion stretched across the stars. For the first time in weeks, there were no alarms, no enemy signals, no sound of battle. Only the slow, distant echo of what humanity had done. Half of the moon was gone, burned and broken. Huge fragments drifted in the void like floating tombstones. The railgun, once a symbol of power, was now nothing but twisted metal and molten stone. Yet, Earth still turned, blue, alive. Deep beneath the destroyed surface, emergency lights flickered to life. A handful of survivors crawled out from under the rubble. Their suits were cracked, their oxygen low, but they were breathing. Lieutenant Juno limped through the wreckage, coughing through the smoke. "Aric?" she called weakly into her comm. "Commander, do you read me?" No answer, only static. She climbed through a collapsed passage until she reached the main control deck, or what was left of it. The giant window was shattered, revealing open space. And there, lying near the edge, was Commander Aric. His helmet was broken, his breathing slow. He had stayed to fire the final shot. Juno rushed to his side, checking his pulse. His eyes opened slightly, calm and distant. "Did it work?" he whispered. Juno looked out at the stars. The alien fleet was gone. Only drifting metal and fading lights remained. "Yes, sir. You did it. They're gone," Aric smiled faintly. "Good. Then it was worth it." His voice grew softer. "Did Mira make it?" Juno lowered her head. "She saved the railgun, sir. Without her, we wouldn't be here." Aric exhaled slowly, eyes gazing toward Earth. She deserved to see it. Peace. A long silence filled the room. Around them, the last surviving screens crackled back to life. One by one, Earth's satellites reconnected, sending messages of hope and confusion. People across the planet watched as the alien signals vanished completely. No one believed it at first, but the truth spread fast. Humanity had survived. Juno activated the emergency beacon. "This is Lunar Base Helios," she said into the radio. "The alien fleet has been destroyed. Earth is safe." Commander Aric led the final strike. "Send rescue immediately." She looked at Aric again. "You did it, Commander. Humanity owes you everything." Aric smiled faintly. His voice was barely a whisper now. "It wasn't just me. It was all of us." He reached for the comm switch and pressed the transmit key. His voice, weak but steady, spread across every human channel. "This is Commander Aric of Lunar Defense. To anyone listening on Earth, we fought for our home. They thought we were weak. They thought we would fall. But we stood. We endured. And when they opened fire on humanity, the railgun answered. The message echoed across the stars, carried through static and silence, reaching every corner of human space. Soldiers cried. Families cheered. And somewhere in the darkness between worlds, the echo continued, a reminder that humanity never surrendered. Moments later, the control deck filled with bright light as Earth's rescue ships broke through the clouds of dust. Juno watched the blue planet through the cracked glass. whispering softly, "You're coming home, Commander." But when she turned back, Aric's eyes were closed, a peaceful look on his face. The man who had saved humanity was gone. The rescue team arrived minutes later, carrying the survivors aboard. As they left the moon's ruins behind, one final flash of light rose from the railgun's remains, like a salute, fading into the black. From Earth's surface, people looked up that night and saw the brightest star in the sky, not knowing it was the reflection of their defenders, the last spark of the weapon that saved them. And though centuries would pass, historians would write about that day, the day humanity answered back, when aliens opened fire on humanity. The railgun answered.